Okay, picture this. You're lying in bed scrolling through your bank statement at 11 p.m. because for some reason you can't sleep until you know where your money went. And you see it. A charge for $14.99 you don't recognize. You squint at it. You Google the company name, and then it hits you. Oh, right, that's the meditation app you downloaded 8 months ago to deal with the stress of checking your bank account too much at night. You open the app. You haven't used it once since the free trial ended. Not once. And here's the part that actually stings. You're not even mad about the $14.99. You're mad because when you scroll further, you find four more just like it. A cloud storage plan you don't need. A workout app you used twice. A streaming service for a show you finished in March. Altogether, it's almost $60 a month, bleeding out of your account like a slow leak in a tire you didn't even know was flat. Here's the thing. This isn't a story about you being careless. This is a story about your brain being hacked. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how, why it's not your fault, and more importantly, what to actually do about it. Because once you see this trick, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with the number that should honestly be illegal to know and then go back to sleep peacefully. Studies on subscription spending, the kind done by companies like West Monroe and C+R Research, have found something wild. When they ask people how much they spend on subscriptions every month, the average guess is somewhere around $80. When they actually pull the bank data, it's closer to $200. Some studies put it even higher. That's not a small miscalculation. That's not, oh, I forgot about Netflix. That's being off by over 100% on one of your biggest recurring expenses. Let that sink in for a second. You could be more wrong about your subscriptions than you are about literally anything else in your financial life, and you wouldn't even know it because the whole system is built so you never have to look. So let's talk about the actual title of this video, because I promise you it's not clickbait. Why does your brain think $47 is free? Why does spending $47 a month on something feel completely different, psychologically, chemically in your actual brain, than spending $47 once at a store? Here's the metaphor I want you to hold on to for this entire video. Imagine your money is water and your bank account is a bucket. A one-time purchase is like someone walking up and yanking a cup of water straight out of that bucket in front of your face. You see it leave. You feel the loss. Your brain registers it as pain. And I mean that literally. There's actual neuroscience behind this. The same part of your brain that processes physical pain, the insula, lights up when you experience a financial loss you consciously notice. But a subscription is like a tiny pinhole drilled into the bottom of that bucket. The water is leaving at the exact same rate, maybe even faster over time. But you never see the cup being taken. There's no moment, there's no wince. It just quietly drains day after day. And because there's no single visible moment of loss, your brain never files it as pain. It just becomes background noise, wallpaper. And that right there is the entire trick the modern subscription economy is built on. Not stealing your money in one big grab, but convincing your brain that this isn't spending at all. Now look, companies didn't stumble into this by accident. This is designed. There are entire teams of behavioral psychologists, the same people who study gambling addiction, sitting in boardrooms at these companies figuring out how to make cancellation as painful as possible and sign up as frictionless as possible. That's not a conspiracy theory, that's just product design. Think about how you signed up for that free trial. Probably 3 clicks. Email, password, done, enjoy your 7 days free. Now think about the last time you tried to cancel something. Did you have to find a hidden menu, call a phone number, sit on hold, get offered a discount to stay, then get offered another discount, then finally have to click through a page that says, "Are you sure?" with a sad little cartoon character guilt-tripping you? That asymmetry is not an accident. In the industry, they sometimes call this a dark pattern, and one of the most common versions of it even has a nickname, the Roach Motel. You can check in anytime you want, but good luck checking out. Let's dig into the psychology a bit deeper here because I want you to actually understand the mechanism, not just nod along and forget it in 10 minutes. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the pain of paying. Every time you spend money, there's a small psychological cost that comes from the act of paying itself, separate from what you're actually buying. Cash hurts the most because you physically watch bills leave your hand. Credit cards hurt less because there's a small delay and no visible object leaving you. And subscriptions? Subscriptions basically eliminate the pain of paying almost entirely because you don't even take the action of paying anymore. It just happens. You are removed from the transaction completely. You've essentially pre-authorized future you to keep spending money that present you doesn't have to think about. And here's the reveal I promised you, the part that's going to make you a little uncomfortable, but in a useful way. This isn't just about apps and streaming services anymore. This model has expanded into car features you have to pay monthly to unlock, software you used to just own outright now renting to you forever, even some furniture and appliance companies experimenting with subscription models for physical products you'd normally just buy once. The entire economy is quietly shifting from own things to rent access to things forever. And it's happening specifically because companies have realized that recurring small payments generate more lifetime revenue and less psychological resistance than one-time purchases ever could. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Okay, but it's just a few dollars here and there. It's not that deep. And look, I get it. That's exactly what your brain is supposed to think, because that's what makes the trick work. Let's do some real math for a second, because numbers on a screen hit different than vibes. Let's say you've got 6 subscriptions. Not crazy, that's honestly below average for a lot of people once you count streaming, cloud storage, a fitness app, a meal kit you forgot to pause, maybe a subscription box, and some kind of software tool. Let's say they average out to around $15 each. That's $90 a month. $90 a month feels small. It feels like, a couple coffees. But $90 a month is over $1,000 a year. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. If that same $90 a month had gone into a basic index fund instead, averaging a historically reasonable 7 to 8% return over 20 years, that's not $1,000. That's tens of thousands of dollars. I'm talking somewhere in the ballpark of $50,000 to $60,000 just from subscriptions you probably forgot you had that compounded silently while you kept paying for a meditation app to deal with financial stress. The irony there is almost too much. So no, it's not just a few dollars. It's your future wealth leaking out through a hole you can't see, funding companies who have specifically engineered that hole to be invisible to you. Here's another thing that drives me a little crazy, and I say this because I genuinely want you to succeed with money, not because I enjoy being the bearer of bad news. The subscription model preys specifically on something called the endowment effect combined with a bit of loss aversion. Once you have a subscription, even one you don't use, canceling it starts to feel like losing something rather than saving something. Your brain frames it as, I'm giving up my Netflix instead of, I'm getting $90 back into my pocket every month. That reframing, that tiny mental flip, is exactly why people keep subscriptions they don't use for months, sometimes years, even when logically they know they should cancel. And companies lean into this hard with something you've probably experienced without naming it: the free trial into auto-renewal trap. You sign up excited, for free, no risk they tell you, cancel anytime. But anytime quietly becomes never. Because the moment that trial ends and the first real charge goes through, the psychology flips from I'm trying something new to I already have this, why would I get rid of it? The transition happens so smoothly, you don't even notice the exact moment you went from a curious customer to a paying one. Okay, so I've spent a good chunk of this video making you a little paranoid about your bank statement, and honestly, good. You should check it tonight. But let's actually fix this, because pointing out a problem without a solution is just anxiety with extra steps. First thing, and I mean this literally, pause this video after I say this part and go do it right now, or at least commit to doing it in the next 10 minutes. Pull up your bank and credit card statements from the last 3 months. Not your memory of your subscriptions. Your actual statements. Your brain will lie to you here. Remember the research. People are off by over 100%. You need the receipts. Literally. Highlight every recurring charge you see. Every single one, even the small ones, especially the small ones, because those are the ones designed to hide. Second, for every subscription you find, ask yourself one blunt question. Not, do I like this? Because you probably like all of them a little bit. The question is, did I use this in the last 30 days, and would I sign up for this again today if it didn't already exist? If the answer is no to either one, that subscription goes on the chopping block. Third, and this is the step most people skip because it feels tedious, actually cancel them. Don't just decide mentally to stop using it and let it keep charging you while you feel vaguely guilty. Go through the actual cancellation flow, sit through the guilt trips, click through the sad cartoon character, get your money back into your own pocket. If a company makes this deliberately painful, that alone tells you everything you need to know about whether the product respects your time or your wallet. Fourth, for anything you do decide to keep. Because look, I'm not telling you to live a joyless subscription-free existence, I'm telling you to be intentional. Set a calendar reminder every single month, same day, to do a 5-minute subscription audit. Not because you'll cancel everything every month, but because the moment you build a habit of actually looking at this stuff regularly, you take away the exact thing this whole system depends on, which is your inattention. The pinhole in the bucket only works if nobody's watching the water level. And fifth, here's a slightly more advanced move for those of you who want to get ahead of this instead of just reacting to it. Before you sign up for any new subscription, any free trial, anything with a recurring charge attached, do the annual math out loud before you click confirm. Don't let yourself think in monthly numbers because monthly numbers are specifically small enough to bypass your pain of paying. $10 a month sounds like nothing. $120 a year sounds like something. Same number, different framing, completely different decision quality. Force yourself to see the real number every time. Now here's something I want to add because I think it matters more than most finance videos give it credit for. This isn't really about being cheap or depriving yourself or living some extreme minimalist lifestyle where you can't enjoy Netflix. That's not the point at all. The point is consciousness. The point is that every dollar leaving your account should be a decision you made on purpose. Not a decision some product team made for you 18 months ago when you were excited about a free trial and forgot to think about it ever again. There's a massive difference between I choose to spend $15 a month on this because it genuinely adds value to my life, and I'm spending $15 a month because canceling required 4 clicks and a phone call and I never got around to it. Same $15. Completely different relationship with your money. And honestly, this pattern doesn't just live in your subscriptions. Once you start noticing this pinhole in the bucket effect, you start seeing it everywhere in your financial life. That gym membership, that storage unit you keep meaning to clean out, that insurance add-on you don't remember agreeing to, the buy now, pay later installments that turn a $200 purchase into 4 invisible $50 ones so it feels like nothing. It's all the same psychological trick wearing a different outfit, small, recurring, invisible, and specifically designed to never trigger that moment of pain that makes you stop and think. Here's the uncomfortable truth I want to leave you with, though, because I think you deserve honesty more than you deserve comfort. The companies running this playbook are not evil masterminds twirling a mustache somewhere. They're just responding rationally to what actually works, and what works is exploiting a gap between how our brains evolved to process loss and how modern digital payments are structured. Your brain evolved to feel pain when you watched a physical object. Food, tools, resources leave your hands. It did not evolve to feel anything when a server somewhere quietly deducts a number from a database once a month. That mismatch is the entire business model. It's not that you're bad with money, it's that you're a human being running ancient software trying to navigate a system specifically engineered around that software's blind spots. So here's what I actually want you to walk away with. Not fear, not guilt about that meditation app you forgot to cancel. We've all got one of those. I want you to walk away with awareness because awareness is the only thing that actually closes the pinhole. The moment you start seeing recurring charges as decisions instead of defaults, the moment you convert monthly numbers into annual reality checks, the moment you build the habit of actually looking instead of assuming, you take back control of something that's been quietly running on autopilot for years. Go check your statement tonight. Actually do it. Don't just nod along and close the tab telling yourself you'll do it tomorrow, because tomorrow is exactly what that pinhole is counting on. Find the leaks, patch them, and redirect even a portion of that money into something that compounds for you instead of some company's recurring revenue chart. If this video made you a little uncomfortable, good. That's exactly the point. Because uncomfortable is usually the feeling right before you actually change something. If you want more breakdowns like this, the psychology behind the money decisions you don't even realize you're making, hit subscribe. And yeah, I see the irony in saying that in this exact video, but at least this one you're getting real value for actually showing up and watching, not for forgetting to cancel. I'll see you in the next one.